Just days ago, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman made a Twitter post in which he suggested that families integrate their digital calendars with ChatGPT and have the LLM create a podcast of sorts that parents can listen to in order to better understand their children's interests. Creator of the hit animated show Gravity Falls, Alex Hirsch, responded with one simple suggestion. Just talk to your kids. It is incredible how the 7 or 8 most powerful people in the entire world are some of the most disconnected from reality. AI and Silicon Valley and the tech world, as it is allowed to exist in the United States and in the Western world at large, is only allowed to do so because it self-perpetuates this ideology that you need to shut your brain off and reinvent the wheel. I hate AI, all right? I hate AI. I hate it with every bone in my body. I think in the whole of this, experiment that we've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years, I think I've typed maybe 10 prompts at most, and at least 3 or 4 of those were Snapchat AI when that came out. I don't like it at all. I think that there are few things that exist, again, in the sort of affluent Western world, that are as self-evidently destructive as AI is. And, I can give all the talking points, right? AI melts people's brains. AI is bad for the environment. AI, it props up this fake economy. I don't know what's going on with the economic side, by the way, because it was supposed to explode like months ago. But I would assume they're still just shifting around the hundreds of millions of dollars that don't even exist, like they were, again, a year ago. When's it going to explode? When are we all going to be poor? Okay, so AI bad, whatever. I want to talk about this self-perpetuating ideology a little bit, because the CEOs and the other people they've convinced to be, super pro AI, they're all searching for things that already exist. In my opinion, I think we can talk about, general intelligence and the singularity and blah, blah, blah. And what has deluded people into thinking AI is really that special? It's a computer system. You type stuff in, you get stuff back. And there's hardly much innovation with it at all. And you can look to the generative parts, like images and videos and recreating people's voices and things like that. Okay, on the one hand, the visible reaction to that from most people is disgust. Most people don't really like AI art. I don't know if you've heard about that. At least younger people, like millennials on down. But then the other thing is, like, what's so good about that that's not just like a 5-minute little doohickey that you tinker around with and then you throw away because there's not really any use for it. Okay, I can generate an image of Doomslayer at a children's birthday party. Okay, haha, that's kind of funny. And then I never use it again. I can generate a song by Snoop Dogg and an AI voices it. And then, haha, that's cool. And then I never use it again. What's so cool, what's so special about the creative, the generative stuff that gets people so attached to it? And as for like generative, as for like chatbots, like texts, that type of stuff, like just typing in a ChatGPT and organizing information, that's useful. That's useful in a business setting. That's useful for researching things. It can help streamline things that you're already doing. It can help make things more efficient, and that's that's fine. But it's just a chat bot. What's special about that? What? So as we can see, the actual merits of AI aren't really sky high, and yet people think it's just this amazing thing, and they're forcing this narrative. All the tech CEOs, the higher ups, the powerful people, They're trying to force it down, and they're forcing themselves to believe it amongst themselves. And then the people who adopt that view down here, the mass populace will say, the people who are pro-AI force themselves to believe that thing amongst themselves. And they do this by trying to find uses for AI that just don't exist. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating study on like the human mind, because in the same way that the very tool that they're using can't help but recycle stuff that already exists, information it's already fed, any ideas that come from these like AI tech bros are just normal human behaviors with 40 extra steps. They're things that you could already do if you went from point A to point B and not through like 4 LLMs and a generative image maker. I'm sorry if that wasn't very coherent, but you get what I mean. These people are trying to force something that isn't really that useful to be useful. And in the process, they're genuinely losing touch with reality. And this has been happening for 2 years now. It doesn't make any sense. And that's the other thing, is that there's just something so insidious about all of it, right? I mean, we can talk about effective altruism and like Peter Singer and, you know, whatever else, and the amount of moral atrocity we can justify now in order to mathematically ensure we're doing the most amount of good later. But I'm not interested in that. It's just fascinating how unhuman all of it is. And again, I don't know if these tech guys, like, I don't think they hate humanity. I think they just have extremely incorrect impressions on the role of technology in society and morality. And I also think all of them are very clearly autistic. Every one of them is autistic, and not in like a cool way. Like, all of them are autistic, and they all watched Blade Runner together one time, and they came away with the worst conclusions. And that's how we got the the world circa 2026. I don't really know. These were just a lot of scattered thoughts, but I'll end it on the note, on the cliche thing everybody says, right? Is something really good when, even in your own in-group, you have to constantly reassure yourself that it's good? Because that's the reality. It's this self-fed, self-reinforcing narrative that all these AI people feed themselves, right? At least those who take it seriously on an ideological level, right? Not your grandmother who just really likes ChatGPT and probably gave it a name, right? That's something else entirely. And I think it's a problem, but, you know, whatever. What I'm talking about is those who support this on a fundamental ideological basis. Those who fund it, the CEOs who are always promoting it, the business and tech bros who are always promoting it. If you have to constantly tell yourself that the technology is good and that it's worth it, is it? I don't know. For something that's supposed to be changing the world and the fourth industrial revolution, right? You'd think you'd be a little more secure in yourself.